Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Saturday Drinking Wine at 9. That's our new forum because it's 9 o'clock and we be drinking. Plus, it's a little bit more approachable than Saturday Sound Things. I'm still your host with the most. And before I go on with the show, just to let you know that today I'll be tasting these wonderful champagnes that Chris is already imbibing with at the wine desk from 3 until 4. And if anybody out there has any questions on champagne for either of us, just pipe in because we'll do our best to answer the questions. So, on with the show. Today I have a returning guest. His name is Chris Rowe. He works with Old Bridge Cellars. He's their sales manager, person extraordinaire. And I've worked with Chris before, and if anybody knows anything about champagne, it's him. And today it's all about Maison Collet. So Chris, welcome back to the table.
Thank you, Mats.
Let's go.
All right. I'm wonderfully happy to be here as always. And as we put many of these together, we've tried to do Champagne Collet in the holidays. And as we approach up to Thanksgiving in a couple weeks, it's very appropriate to focus on Champagne Collet.
Yes, it is.
Champagne Collet, I'll give a quick history on it. It has been around since 1920, so it's over 100 years old. It was formed as a direct result of the Champagne Revolt, which takes too long to get into right now.
It really does.
Needless to say, Raoul Collet founded his champagne house to give growers a place to sell their grapes and call it true champagne. It is a co-op. We work with 800 individual growers. Some of these families we've been working with for 4 generations now. Some of these people own less than an acre of vineyard land,
right,
and they can't make the champagne themselves. So we fall in that really understandable, weird category. We're not a negotiant like Moet and Veuve. We're not a grower champagne. We're a co-op where people don't have the means to make their own champagne, so they sell their harvest to us.
Okay.
We take only Premier and Grand Cru villages, and we only take the top 10% of the fruit. So we're taking the best of the best. They're free to sell the other 90% to anyone else, but we take the best, and that is what goes into Champagne Collet.
Okay, number 1, we have the Art Deco.
Yes, so this is the signature style. And since the estate was brought up in the Art Deco era, that has become the theme for everything. So all their artwork, all the architecture, everything's modeled in the Art Deco theme. So as the signature style, Art Deco is the name that we picked. All of the wines we'll taste today are brut, so they're under 12 grams per liter.
Very
of
dry.
The dosage, so
Very
they're all
crisp.
dry.
Love
But the
that.
Art Deco really emphasizes the Premier and Grand Cru villages. This is 40% Chardonnay, 40% Pinot Noir, and 20% Pinot Meunier.
Yep.
So a wonderful blend here. 4 years minimum. So Collet loves extended tiragement, so extended time in the bottle. So nothing sees less than 4 years in bottle here.
I love it because it is dry, it's crisp. Lemongrass, wheatgrass, it's just hints of everything. I just get so fatutzt. Hints of everything that should be in a champagne glass. And I love that it's 1921. It looks very Roaring 20s, even though it's all French. Just think back to the Roaring 20s of the United States. Warren G. Harding was in office. Wasn't the best time, but for the Roaring 20s and Champagne Collet, it's gorgeous.
Yes, some would say it was the modern renaissance of champagne in this period where people like Charles Heidsieck had already come to America and spread the word of what champagne was. Champagne was starting to come across the seas. It was actually going into China. It was going into Russia. It was really a golden era for champagne. It was a tumultuous time because they had several terrible harvests.
Yeah.
So some unsavory characters were bringing fruit up from other parts of Europe, calling it champagne. But as a result of the Champagne Revolt and Raoul Collet, they created the boundary and the very first AOC for France, which was champagne in the 40s. And as a result of this, the house where Champagne Collet is actually a UNESCO World Heritage spot as well.
Okay. On to my favorite, which is the rosé, because look at the color. It's a gorgeous salmon, festive color, perfect for parties, upcoming holidays. I love the nose, pomegranates, hibiscus, a little bit of wild raspberries.
So this rosé, it's a different blend, or as the French will call it, it's a cépage.
Love it.
This is predominantly Pinot Noir. So this is 60% Pinot, 40%, I'm sorry, 30% Chardonnay, 10% Pinot Meunier. This is a minimum of 5 years in bottle.
Gorgeous.
Now, it is not red to start. They actually do a different, when they put in the disgorgement, it's actually still Pinot Noir, and that's where the color comes from.
Yes. And I have to give credit to the chef de cave, the Champagne winemaker, Sebastian Wolosiak.
Yep.
Genius, and it really shows within these bottles because it's such a balanced, elegant product. And as always, Miss Sheila already has them on sale. So before we go on to number 3, what would you pair with this?
Rosé for me, I pair with another glass, first of all.
Of course.
But it is such the versatile. I think of it as the Pinot Noir of Champagne, right?
Yeah.
So you can do with grilled tuna. You can go with roasted meats, lighter style anyways, pork or chicken. Really great game hens. It is the ultimate companion to a charcuterie board.
I like that too because we often mention charcuterie. And before we go on to Champagne number 3, we have a question. Go ahead.
So we've got Mr. Bentley asking, Mats, what are all of your pains?
I will let him know at the end of the podcast because it's my favorite toast in all the world. Thank you for asking.
Oh, is he already asking for toast and quotes?
Well, not quite yet, but
All right,
yes.
all right.
So, Champagne number 3.
Yes, so this is the Blanc de Blanc. There are many, many styles of champagne, and the House of Collet utilizes all of them. These are the top 4 that come into America. The Blanc de Blanc literally translates white from white. So this is 100% Chardonnay. This is 90% from Grand Cru villages and 10% from Premier Cru. This sees an additional year, so this is 6 years minimum in bottle.
Beautiful.
And this really gets that toasty, nutty, yeasty, such a great creamy finish to it.
Right. A lot of stone
It's the
fruit.
companion to Blanc de Noir, which would be white from red grapes. So
Correct.
this is 100% Chardonnay.
Yeah, beautiful, gorgeous. Which takes us to our last bottle of champagne. These go by so quickly. And this is also one of my favorites because it is vintage.
Yes,
so
so-
you're going to get a lot of pie crust and brioche and hazelnuts, but this is your product.
This is the Millésime. This is the 2016. So this actually was my 30th high school reunion. So it's a very good year for me back then. We did 8, 12, 14, and 16. This is our latest release for the vintage. This is, again, similar cepage. So we're Pinot Noir, 60%, 40% Chardonnay. Again, about 80% in Grand Cru villages here. This is 7 years minimum in bottle.
Yep.
And one of the least produced. So this is just some of the smallest production is our vintage because it has to be the best of the best. And as we were chatting earlier, this has got that really creamy finish to it, really rich flavors, the texture, the depth. If you want the ultimate expression of champagne, for me, vintage is what it's
I love it, absolutely. And wasn't it Napoleon who said that famous champagne quote?
Yes, he did. Would you like me to do it? Or would you like to do
I
it?
would.
Yes, so there are many, and I have one other one we'll close with. But Napoleon said, champagne, in victory, we have earned it. In defeat, we deserve it.
That's right. I mean, we couldn't be any more clear. It still stands today. So you guys, come on down to Argonaut. The Champagne Collets are just beautiful to discover. One more quote from you, and then
Yes.
I'll end my closing.
I will dedicate this to my dad, who unfortunately passed away earlier. He was not a big champagne drinker, but he drank the good stuff when I brought it for him. And for a lot of us, we don't drink a lot of champagne, but I want to take the immortal words of Lily Bollinger.
We love her.
I drink champagne when I'm happy and when I'm sad. Sometimes I drink it when I'm alone. When I have company, I consider it obligatory. I trifle with it if I'm not hungry and drink it when I am. Otherwise, I never touch it, unless I'm thirsty.
And those are words to live with. So Chris, thank you so much for joining me at the table and to answer the question that was given earlier. My favorite champagne toast, and you can use this and the viewers out there. Chris, may all of your pains be champagne.
These champagnes, yes.
Cheers.